Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. Hi there. So today I'm talking about mental health. Most of my talks at the moment seem to just start with the single word or phrase. And today it is mental health. But perhaps you've noticed that there's a conversation going on out there in the world, and the conversation professes to be about mental health. But perhaps you've noticed, as I have, that conversation is not about mental health. That conversation is about mental illness. And the pointing that we seem to be doing is towards that mental illness. And it's all 100% well-meaning. It's all 100% coming from a place of passion around helping people. I 100% see that. I think I've said 100% enough times now. The issue is that we are pointing and pointing and pointing in the direction of mental illness. We're showing people what it looks like. And unfortunately, this is starting when the people concerned are very small people. I had a recent experience of hearing about a child receiving an intervention from an educational authority for their behaviour. And that this child, who was only 8 at the time, was receiving instruction on what anxiety was, what the symptoms were of anxiety. Not receiving instruction to tell him that he had his confidence and resilience and well-being innate to him, that was always there, but teaching him about anxiety. Now I'd like to swap a word in there, or a couple of words, teaching him about anxiety or teaching him how to be anxious. Because it turns out, feeling anxious, folks, that's normal. Everybody feels that way sometimes. But the issue is that if you've been told that is an element, that feeling you've got right now is an element of illness, then you can fall very quickly into a place of panicking that you have that illness. And yet we're teaching our very, very young children about this. And then it goes on. I remember myself when I went to the doctors for the first time, on the day I walked out of work, and in fact never ended up going back. I sat in that doctor's surgery and I was asked all these questions. And the questions guided me to look at my life and see the things I couldn't do right now. And then I was told that made me severely depressed, that those collection of answers that I gave were symptomatic of a severe depression episode. And you know what? When I look at my life now and I consider that questionnaire, there are probably days when I feel a bit like that right now. Because I'm a normal, functioning woman who goes up and down according to her hormones and the menopause and, I don't know, the full moon or whatever else might be occurring and the other things that are going on in my body right now. And that's okay. And where we are pointing and pointing and pointing to, this is what mental illness looks like. This is what I see that we are missing. We're missing the conversation about well-being. And that conversation is not about taking care of yourself and doing what's right for you and having breaks and all of that. That conversation is absolutely vital. This is a different conversation that I'm pointing to. This is a conversation around helping people to see, you included, helping people to see that their innate well-being never, ever, ever goes away. You can look out into the world and it looks like resilience and confidence and calm are things that need to be put in from the outside in order to fix you, to replace what's missing. But that's not true, because you've probably noticed those things come to the fore just when you're not expecting them to, or perhaps you're not expecting either way, but they come up, don't they? You know, is there anything you haven't actually got through in life? Well, that's resilience. It's working all the time. It's pulling you through. Being sad about something doesn't mean you're not resilient. Not wanting to do something doesn't mean you're not confident. It just means that in that moment, the thinking that says you can't do it was stronger or more loud, and you were paying more attention to it than the confidence that was innate to you. So I guess what I'm saying at the moment is, where are we having the conversations about what is innate to every single one of us? From when we are born, from when we have the resilience and confidence to learn to walk and talk and everything else that we can now do as adults and couldn't do as children, as babies. Where are we pointing people? Look at your mental health. Having this take on human beings has completely transformed my conversations with people. I had a conversation with a gentleman the other day who was expressing, some distress about things in his life, but I noticed how there were moments when I could see how his innate well-being had pulled him through something, and I just kept pointing him to that over and over again. Can you see how you did this when that happened? Can you see how you got through that when that happened? We didn't have one single bit of a conversation about the mental illness he had recently been diagnosed with. I just kept pointing him to where his well-being was showing up. And that is like magic. It's like once you start to shine a light on the beauty of that, the person starts to see it more, because they're looking towards that. It's literally a 180-degree turn from what I used to do was poke and prod in your mental illness and this is why you like this and all of that. And now it's just keep looking to where you're okay. Just keep looking to how you're bouncing back from this. Just keep looking to where your wisdom guided you to do something that was helpful. Keep looking at where your mental well-being is working, where it's innate, where it's what you're made of. And that I feel, much as I think there needs to be more investment and there needs to be more stuff going on around mental health, but that's the difference for me. It's not the conversation we're having now. The conversation we're having now is about mental illness again and again and again. Where are the conversations that show us how well we are, how we're doing okay, how we're pulling ourselves through things time and time again? And there must be millions of examples in the last 18 months. But where are we looking at that and pointing at that and looking at that and saying, look, human beings, you're amazing. You're perfect just as you are. And you're getting through so much on a day-to-day basis. Look at what you can do. The questionnaire I answered in 2015 about the one that diagnosed me with severe depression only pointed at what I couldn't do. And guess what? I felt pretty awful after answering those questions because all I could see was the horror of my life. The belief that I wasn't okay got stronger on that day, not weaker. So I'm putting this out there not because I think anybody's doing anything wrong, but because I would just love to see more conversations around mental health, around how resilient we are, how amazing we are, how that's inside every one of us. And for you right now, if you're hearing this and you're even starting to get a little glimmer of something, then just keep looking in this direction. Keep listening, keep bringing awareness, stay curious about how this plays out in your life. I really hope you found that helpful today, and I hope that you'll turn up again soon. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.